Orpheus entered the underworld and won his wife back. The gods gave him only one condition. He could not look at her until they reached sunlight. The exit was only a few steps away. Then Orpheus turned around. He watched Eurydice disappear for the second time. This was not a story about defeating a monster. It was about surviving one final moment of doubt. Orpheus failed. But why did he look back? The answer has haunted artists for more than 2,000 years. Orpheus was the greatest musician in Greek mythology. His mother was usually named Calliope. She was the muse of epic poetry. His father was sometimes the Thracian king Eurydice. Other traditions connected him directly with Apollo. Whatever his parentage, his music carried supernatural power. Orpheus played the lyre. When he touched its strings, wild animals became calm. Birds stopped flying to listen. Rivers changed their courses. Even trees and stones moved toward the sound. His gift did not control nature through violence. It persuaded the world to become still. Orpheus also joined the expedition of the Argonauts. Jason and his crew sailed in search of the Golden Fleece. During the voyage, the sirens tried to destroy them. Their voices lured sailors toward death. Orpheus answered with music of his own. His song overwhelmed theirs. The Argonauts sailed past the danger. The musician had defeated death once through sound. Then he met Eurydice. Ancient sources give her less history than Orpheus. She is often described as a nymph or young woman. The two fell in love and married. Their happiness lasted only a short time. The most famous versions differ about what happened next. In Ovid's account, disaster arrives during the wedding celebration. The marriage torch produces smoke, but no bright flame. It is a terrible sign. Soon afterward, Eurydice walks through the grass. A venomous snake bites her ankle. She dies before her new life can truly begin. Virgil tells a darker variation. A shepherd god named Aristeus pursues Eurydice. She runs from him in fear. While fleeing, she steps near a hidden snake. The bite kills her. In both versions, Orpheus loses her almost immediately. No music can stop the poison. No wedding promise can hold back death. Orpheus sings after Eurydice is gone. His grief enters every note. The living world listens, but it cannot return her. So Orpheus makes an impossible decision. He will follow Eurydice into the underworld. Other heroes entered that realm with weapons. Heracles used strength. Theseus relied on courage and royal blood. Orpheus carried only his lyre and his sorrow. He found an entrance leading beneath the earth. Ancient writers placed such gates in several locations. The path descended away from sunlight. Cold shadows surrounded him. The voices of the dead filled the darkness. Orpheus reached the rivers of the underworld. There, the ferryman Charon carried souls across. Living travelers had no place in his boat. But Orpheus played. The music softened the ancient ferryman. Cerberus guarded the kingdom beyond the river. The monstrous dog possessed 3 heads. His task was to keep the dead from escaping. The song calmed him as well. Orpheus continued deeper. His music reached the punished souls. Ancient poets describe impossible changes. Tantalus temporarily forgot his hunger and thirst. Ixion's burning will stop turning. The daughters of Danaus rested beside their leaking jars. Sisyphus sat upon his stone and listened. For one moment, eternal punishment paused. The dead remembered what beauty felt like. At last, Orpheus stood before Hades and Persephone. They ruled the world he had entered without permission. No mortal could command them. Orpheus did not threaten the throne. He began to sing. His song told them about Eurydice. He spoke of love interrupted before its proper time. He admitted that every mortal eventually belonged to Hades. He did not ask to make Eurydice immortal. He asked only to borrow the years she had lost. If the gods refused, Orpheus would remain below. He no longer wanted the world without her. The rulers of death listened. The spirits around them began to weep. Even the Furies felt tears on their faces. Hades and Persephone made a decision without precedent. Eurydice could return to the living world. But one condition would test Orpheus completely. He must walk in front of her. He could not turn around. He could not look at Eurydice during the ascent. Only after both reached the upper world could he see her. The condition sounds simple. That simplicity made it cruel. Orpheus began climbing through the darkness. Somewhere behind him, Eurydice followed. He could not see her. In many versions, he could barely hear her. The dead do not walk like the living. Perhaps her footsteps made no sound. Perhaps Orpheus heard only his own breathing. The tunnel continued upward. Every step created another question. Was Eurydice truly behind him? Had the gods deceived him? Had she fallen somewhere in the darkness? Was he walking toward sunlight alone? Orpheus had convinced stones, rivers, animals, and gods. Now he had to convince himself. He could not use music. He could not ask Eurydice for proof. He could only trust. The darkness slowly weakened. Air from the living world entered the passage. Orpheus could see the exit. He stepped across the boundary into daylight. Then he turned. Eurydice had not crossed the boundary yet. She was still inside the underworld. Their eyes met. For one brief moment, Orpheus saw her again. Then the command took effect. Invisible power pulled Eurydice backward. Orpheus reached toward her. His hands closed around empty air. Eurydice stretched her arms toward him. She did not curse her husband. In Ovid's telling, what could she blame except his love? She said a final farewell. Then darkness swallowed her voice. Orpheus had lost Eurydice twice. The first loss came from a snake. The second came from his own decision. Why did he turn? Ancient texts do not give one certain answer. Perhaps love overpowered patience. He had already reached the light. He may have believed the condition was fulfilled. Perhaps doubt became unbearable. Silence behind him may have felt like proof of betrayal. Perhaps he feared Eurydice needed help. Turning could have been an act of concern. Or perhaps the command was impossible from the beginning. Love naturally desires the face of the beloved. The gods demanded that Orpheus love without reassurance. They asked him to trust what he could not sense. His failure was deeply human. Orpheus tried to follow Eurydice again. He returned to the river and begged Charon. The ferryman refused to carry him. For 7 days, Orpheus remained near the shore. He ate nothing. He survived on grief and memory. Eventually, he returned to the living world alone. His music changed. The same gift that once celebrated love now preserved loss. Orpheus rejected other relationships. He wandered through Thrace, singing of Eurydice. His refusal angered a group of Thracian women. Later tradition often identifies them as Maenads. They were followers of Dionysus. During a violent frenzy, they attacked Orpheus. At first, his music protected him. Stones and weapons fell harmlessly beneath the sound. Then drums, shouting, and ritual noise overwhelmed the lyre. The women tore Orpheus apart. His head and instrument fell into a river. They floated toward the island of Lesbos. Even after death, his severed head continued singing. The voice called the name of Eurydice. Nature mourned him. Rivers rose with their own tears. Trees lost their leaves. The muses gathered what remained of the musician. They buried him and preserved his memory. His lyre was placed among the stars. But Orpheus's story did not end with another separation. His soul returned to the underworld. This time, he entered as one of the dead. He found Eurydice again. Ovid imagines them walking together among the spirits. Sometimes Orpheus follows her. Sometimes he walks ahead. Now he can turn and look without fear. No law can separate them again. The ending offers comfort, but it does not erase the tragedy. Orpheus achieved what no ordinary mortal could accomplish. He softened Hades. He silenced punishment. He opened a road out of death. Then he failed during the final steps. That is why the story survives. Most people never face a three-headed guardian. Most never sing before the throne of the dead. But everyone understands doubt. Everyone knows the desire to check one final time. Everyone has feared losing something just before reaching safety. Orpheus looked back because he loved Eurydice. He also looked back because love had made him afraid. The same feeling that carried him into the underworld betrayed him. Perhaps the gods were testing obedience. Perhaps they were testing trust. Or perhaps they understood something cruel about human nature. We move closer to recovering what we lost. Then our fear of losing it again becomes stronger. Orpheus reached the sunlight. He had completed every impossible part of the journey. Only one command remained. Do not look back. He looked.